So I am about 200 pages into this book. It's a book on SQL Server Analysis Services. You see, a Power BI semantic model under the hood is a tabular model. And so there's a lot to be learned from learning about the correct way to build a analysis services tabular model that applies when you're building out a Power BI semantic model that you want to be performant. And there was a line that I read, and I'm about 200 pages in, by the way, that got me really excited last night that I want to talk to you about. Here's the line, and I'm going to read it. The best data modeling technique for a tabular model is the star schema using shared dimensions where there are two or more fact tables. That's it. That's the entire line. That's what got me excited. So, what am I going to talk to you about, and why do I want to bring this up? See, a challenge that you're probably going to run into is the best way to store actuals of some kind versus target. And you're going to have to figure out a way to build that in Power BI. So let's go into Visio and let me show you a couple of different scenarios through both Visio and Excel. Okay, I lied. We're not going to Visio. We're going into PowerPoint because I don't have a Visio license. Sorry about that. Okay, so here we are in PowerPoint. So let's pretend that this is our Power BI model. So it's a star schema, right? So we'll say it's the star schema of a retailer. And so we have our sales data, we have our retail location data, we have our time dimension data, and we have our product dimension data, and this will be our sales fact data. Now, this is great because we can have all kinds of measures like revenue, units sold, that kind of stuff. But the problem is we now need to insert in targets. So we're faced with a couple of different options. So if these are the columns that we have in our fact table, so let's just say we have a location, we have a day, we have the product that's sold in sales. So let's just say location A, day will be 1/1/2023, right? And our product would be a rubber duck. And let's just say we sold $1,000 in rubber ducks, right? If we had a target that was at the same grain at the sales table, meaning we had a target for a location, day, and rubber duck, we could go ahead and we could store it right in here, and we could say, hey, our target was $900, and our sales fact table could get wider. The other thing that we could do is we could essentially stack the columns. So let's just say in Power Query, we could add a type of data right here. We could call this actuals, right? And then we could call this target. And then inside here, we could go location A, day 1/1, right? So all this same dimension data right here. Instead, sales is going to be 900, right? And this isn't ideal either. Both of these involve a fair amount of DAX, and they make the assumption that your target is at the same grain, meaning the same dimension level that your fact data is at. And typically, that's not going to be the case. Typically, right, location A might get a target for a month, right? So you might have location, you might have fiscal month, and then you might have a target, right? And so maybe location A, fiscal month 1, target $1 million, right, is the target for the entire location. In this case, this target table does not work within the same path as this sales actuals table. Like, there's no way to combine these logically in a way that doesn't involve you creating a column right here that essentially says, oh, target, right, and then having 1 million, and then for every single day of this month, just having that 1 million target, right, repeating down as all the rows go. And that is just poor data modeling. So how do you handle this in this scenario? Well, no one's situation is identical, but that line I read you from the book, it covered it. So let's take a look at what you would actually do. See, you would add the target table in as a separate fact table and not try to connect it to your sales fact. Instead, you would connect it to all the same dimensions that your target fact is connected to. So while this doesn't look like a star schema, in reality, it still is, right? So if I go here and I delete out sales fact, right? So if I delete it out, This is essentially still a star schema, right, on its own. Obviously, product dimension isn't connected, right, because our target in this scenario didn't have product, so it's just kind of floating. But if I go and I do the same thing, so if I go and duplicate this and I delete out target, this is still a star schema. And as long as all of your filters, all of your dimension data, right, is still hooked in, these are still valid things that you can use to slice and dice. You get it? Well, if you don't, let me know in the comments. But I really hope you learned something. And if you're interested in SQL, Power BI, business intelligence, my ramblings on stuff like this, please consider giving me a subscribe. It really means a lot. And liking the video because that helps with engagement. And I'm on my way to almost 3,000 watch hours, which, if you guys don't know, is the requirement for monetization on YouTube. So every minute that you watch this video really helped. Thanks for watching.